at the beginning of my career here at Experior, like legacy was not there in my mindset.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because I was focused on today. I was
Mm,
focused on trying to, elevate myself today financially, as an individual, right? Spiritually, whatever it was. But then as hear from Andrea and Delray, they got so much years of wisdom, and that's how I was so happy to know that Andrea was the one that was helping initiate this, because she realized, I'm like, yeah, legacy is lifetime, not
yep.
just for a number of years. So when she brought that to the table and she got that approved stamp, boom, yeah, legacy is lifetime, right? We can't be calling something a legacy and it stops after a number of years. And then I thought about, I'm like, holy crap, wait a sec. We can do a legacy. Like you're saying, look, so if something happens to me, I die, I get sick, or I retire, whatever it is, especially if I die or get sick, I can't operate. You're telling me my income stream is transferable to someone that's non-licensed, like someone who's not in my business? Like, that's crazy. And if they're in my business, they're gonna be able to inherit 100% of it, and it's gonna be generational wealth.
Right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Visionaries Podcast. We got a special guest today. What a good friend of mine. I actually got to pull this up, man. We got a big intro for this brother right here, man. So him and Lucci, he's in the business with his business partner, also his life partner, and they've been crushing it for the past few years. Joined Experior in 2018, and they built a legacy together. Uh, Over 130 licensed agents combined, making over 450,000 in income. Both him and Lucci combined. And guys, these are amazing couple. Got a chance to connect with them on our Experior Mexico trip over the last few years. We built a strong bond. But Dinesh and Lucci, man, these guys are one of a kind. They're senior executive directors in the company. And our next guest here on the Visionaries podcast. Welcome, Dinesh and Lucci. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, let's
Good to have
go.
you, man.
We're excited, man. We're excited. Let's go, guys.
Excited to have you, brother. So
Thank you,
tell me,
sir.
man. Tell me how you feel, man.
Excited as always. I always talk about bringing the energy, and you know how it is. When I'm on stage, if it's one on one with me, if I even pass by you and you feel the wind, it's going to be energy. That's how it is.
Love it. I love it.
It's all about that, man.
You definitely
Absolutely.
do bring that energy, and that's the one thing that I definitely appreciate about you, man. Because you need that. You need that. You need to bring up that energy. You need to bring up that vibe. People need to get excited when they're in, especially in this business, man.
Absolutely, man. Excitement is key at the end of the day. And, I think one of the things that most people struggle with is maybe elevating that excitement.
Yeah.
Sometimes you come in here, you kind of, it's something new to you, right? It's a new industry. You're trying to get into the licensing process. It's a new environment. And sometimes excitement can be a little like, hey, how do I even start getting excited? And I think it's about being part of that environment. Like, as I started, being part of this environment more often around all the leaders who just gave back energy, I had no choice to be excited. So eventually that kind of like just grew into me, you know what I mean? So it's crazy. I love it, man. I love it.
That's huge. That's amazing. That's amazing, brother. So tell me, man, what were you? Tell us about Denesh Logeswaran, the person. Who were you before you joined financial services, and what were you doing? Tell us about that.
Yes, sir, man. Dinesh, growing up, was a guy that grew up in a neighborhood that got caught up in the wrong side of the tracks, I would say. And unfortunately, the influence around me did not serve me well. And I think, I'm not probably the only one. I know a lot of people can relate to this. Even though my parents, I was born to an immigrant parents. I'm from Sri Lanka. My parents came here in '83. We had a riot back then in '83 called Black July, and a lot of people from our country had to flee down because they had to kind of like save their lives, right? So they had no choice, so they came down as refugees
Wow.
in '83. And I was lucky enough for my mom to actually survive and get here, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. And I was born in '87 in Canada, and it was
Wow.
the biggest blessing, because a lot of us born here don't know really what our parents been through. And
True.
when I got a chance to really sit down with my mom, my dad, and get to understand their humble beginnings, and all the trauma that they've been through, it just kind of lit me up. I'm like, man, Dinesh, like, I can't take life for granted. And I find a lot of people out there, especially people around me my age, I feel like sometimes you take life for granted because you only know what you grew up into, right? So you don't
True.
know what they've been into. So I kind of try to put myself in their shoes, and I'm like, I gotta give back. I gotta really, really, kind of break this. I would say almost a generational like trauma that we went through, right? And I need
True.
to kind of like now pass on a torch to the next generation with a strong legacy. So That's why I'm here.
Wow.
So it's not going to be me telling my friends, hey, it's going to be my kids that are going to carry the torch. It's going to be me carrying the torch but passing it down.
So
So
true.
that's it, So humble beginnings, guys. And I grew up working at a factory job just because school
Mm.
wasn't the thing I got into seriously. I wasn't the most studious kid. But I went into the workforce. I wanted to make some money, so I was a forklift operator. I started that in the late 2000s, 2006, 2007. I was about 19, 20 years old. I worked for a company called Staples. You guys probably know
Okay.
the Staples Center in Los
Yep.
Angeles. So we had a bunch of branches here. So I was in the main branch here driving forklifts. And I was pretty good forklift operator, I was pretty quick. I have one of my buddies. Like I'll give him a shout out, Vic. If he ever watches this session here, he knows like he had 20 years plus experience, and he's seen me come in and like within a year or two, kind of pick up the skills and see how I operated the forklift. He was pretty impressed. Till this day, man. He's like, man, me and you are like Michael Jordan and Pippen on the forklift because we used to handle it. Like I'm telling you, like we used to handle the boxes like fast,
Wow.
like picking boxes, packing it, shipping it. It was crazy. So I took my work seriously, guys. Like the way I treated my job when I was doing my 9 to 5, I took it seriously. I said, you know what? I want to be the best possible version of myself doing this job. And a lot of people might not think that way, right? I heard this saying, you do just enough at your job so that the boss doesn't fire you, and your boss pays you just enough so that you don't leave. It's crazy.
That's a good
So
point. Wow. That's
I
huge.
actually I felt like I was overworking, and I just wanted
Ah,
to show people that I was capable of, really proving my skills and my potential. So that was me. And then luckily I got introduced to this industry in 2008. Had a rough start at the beginning just because my mindset wasn't there. I was 21 years old.
okay.
I had a bunch of my friends kind of telling me, "Hey, what are you doing, bro? Like, you're getting into financial services, self-employed. What is that thing you're part of, right?" It was in my former company actually. They're calling all these types of names, right? Anyways,
Yeah.
without getting into details. So they were trying to kind of snatch my dream away from me, right?
Yeah.
And it was me against the world. I don't know if you ever heard of the Tupac song. It's
Of
one of my
course.
favorite songs,
Of
Me
course.
Against the World. I felt that way. I used to bump that in my car. Like I used to be in my car. A lot of my buddies don't even know this, but I used to roll to it because I know it's me against the world at the end of the day, and I'm gonna prove to become someone great. And it was just that deep desire. I said, man, this industry is gonna work for me, and that day that it works for me, I'm gonna inspire others
Ah,
because the
that's huge.
movement I knew that I had to make was what most people weren't making. You know
Okay.
what I mean? And
So
that's what separated me eventually over the years. And thank God, man, Experior Financial Group came into our hands in 2018. And
look at
today,
that.
me and Lucia are building an awesome business. So, yes, sir.
Look at that. Look at that, brother. So tell me what inspired you to join the industry to begin with? Because it's funny that there's a trend of forklift drivers coming into this industry. And a lot of people don't think that they can make it, but we got a foreign forklift driver who's making, what is it, like 1.1 million? You guys, 450K. So it's like there's a trend here, right? If you're a forklift driver and you're looking for a new career, we're out here. But what was it about the financial service industry that got you inspired to join?
Great question. I mean, look, it was really the struggle. At that time, my parents were struggling with money and finance, living paycheck to paycheck. And as, first generation immigrants, they didn't know how money works in the industry. And they always complained about money, right? Oh man, we can't do this, we can't do that. The bills are too high. We can't send the kids to do this. So that conversation was always in my household. And I know a lot of people can relate to this. So for me, it was like, hey, I got to do something great because I wasn't studious enough to do great in school. I was good at my job, but I wanted to do something great, right? So that's where when my friend introduced me to this industry in 2008, I really had no other option. I didn't have a degree to my name. And sometimes when your back is against the wall, that's where you can really excel because you got no other options.
Yeah.
And I say this to my team sometimes, like sometimes you got plan B, plan C, plan D, and that time that could also be a double-edged sword, right? Because you think
Blessing and
that
a
that could
curse.
be a backup plan, but at the end of the day, you're thinking there's always a better way to do it.
Yep.
But when your back's against the wall and you got to go all in, that's it. You got to go all in. And that's what happened to me, man. I really wanted to master money and finance. I wanted to break that financial illiteracy in our family tree and get out of that. So six-figure income was our first like goal, right? Anyone wants to make six figures. That was the first thing I was thinking about. And yeah, so I stuck to it, man. Never gave up, never threw in the towel. It was tough, but it was so
Yeah.
worth it, man. It was so worth it.
So you went full time right from the beginning then.
No, I still kept my full-time job. Like I was a
Okay.
forklift operator. I didn't make that drastic jump, right? So that was the beautiful thing is that I was able to do it part-time. So I
Okay.
kept my full-time job as a forklift operator, and I had to do it strategically. I'm like, as soon as I get this thing picking up, the
Yeah.
insurance investment side, then I'll slowly start, cutting down on the hours there, and then eventually I'll go full-time. And
Sure.
here's my thought process. Okay, this is crazy because I know when I was at my job, a lot of people were fighting for overtime money, right? Like, that pay and a half or double time. People were excited for that. And I remember people used to like fight and kind of like do a lot of brown nosing and all this craziness. And in
Yeah.
my head, I'm like, man, if I do that, okay, I might make a little bit more, but guess what? With taxes, not much left after anyhow, right? Because you're
Exactly.
paying high taxes, right? As being an
Exactly.
employee working for someone. So in my head, I'm like, instead of doing overtime, buddy, why don't I make my way to the office after work, right?
Yep.
And I used to call myself like Batman and Bruce Wayne because Bruce Wayne was the guy at the
Yep.
forklift job, and Batman had to put on his attire, right? The business clothes, the dress shoes. I had to
Yep.
hang up my steel toe boots and now get into the grind here at the office. And that's what I did. So I got to the office, right? I go home, got to shower first, right? Got to get cleaned up first, come
You
back,
gotta be fresh. Gotta be
right?
fresh.
Got to be fresh to death, man. That's how it is. So I come back here, and that's it. I had to get my business hat on and start getting to the grind around the people so I can elevate my skills. And I did that for a period of time. So I did not pick up overtime hours. Okay, I did enough to gain my skills here so I can replace that full-time job. Or not, I was never gonna get out. And I think that's another challenge a lot of people have is they're constantly stuck into that job environment,
Yeah.
picking up so many hours that they never find the time to actually make this work on this end.
So
So that's
how long did it take you then doing both, doing that full time, doing this part time? How long did it take you to start seeing that full time income coming in while you were doing the part time?
it took me years. I'll be honest with you, just because I was doing everything I can to stay in the environment after work. But at the same time, some of my some of my buddies, weren't pulling, wasn't pushing me in the right direction. They were kind of
Gotcha.
pulling me away.
Yeah.
So my environment also kind of took my energy out of me, right? And
Okay.
that environment for some other people can be sometimes your own family. It can be friends. It can be a work environment. For me, it was like a gang of friends I was part of, right? Unfortunately, we were in the streets a little bit, right? Like we got caught up into that without too much details, and I got into some situations. Personally, I got into situations, and thank God today I tell myself it happened for me, not to me, right?
Mm,
And I know a lot of people live by that, is that it's happening for you, not to you.
yep.
And I woke up, man. 2013. Some people know about my situation, but I was a victim of crime. And then from there, man, it was a wake up call, man. It was a wake up call. It was the horror show and the trauma that I created for my family. I could never see ever again because the tears in my parents' eyes. When I went through my situation, it was unbearable to see. So sometimes, guys, like in life, I think you might have to experience something really drastic for you to actually take action on making your life better. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen or have to happen, but it's unfortunate. That's what happened to me. You know what I mean? For me to
If you
actually.
want to talk about it too, feel free. If you don't, that's fine. We can move on. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind sharing it, man. I mean, look, I think it's the first time I'm sharing it on a podcast for sure. But yeah, like 2013, I was a victim of crime. I was shot. I have a gunshot wound inside of me. I was shot from the back, and I have a bullet that still remains in my stomach, right above the pelvis area.
wow.
And I say, what, I got shot, but I got one more shot at life because I lived. You know what I mean? And it was crazy. It's a story. I mean, some people say, man, D, you got shot. Like, you're like the brown 50 Cent. I'm like, nah, it's not about walking around thinking you're cool. It's
Yeah.
just, man, I lived. You know what I mean? I lived,
Wow.
and
That's an eye
second
opener
chance,
for real.
second chance. And that's it, man. Like for you to get shot and not learn, honestly speaking, I told myself probably if it happens again, I probably don't deserve to live, to be honest, because if I'm gonna put myself in that situation again, right? So I
A
had
lot
no,
of people do.
right, and
That's
thank
crazy.
God, man, I woke up. Yeah,
Well, by the grace of God, man, you're here with us today, man, and you're a living testimony, right, of His goodness. So thankful for that.
yes,
So
sir, yes, sir.
tell us, man, you were at your practice company for so it sounds like what 10 years? I
Yeah,
would assume about 10 years.
yeah.
What was your highest income grossing year?
So highest income in my practice company, it's sometimes a little shameful to talk about, but today I use it to inspire others. The top income I made in one year was $14,000, and that was the last year I was part of that practice company, and that was
That's a
about
testimony,
2015.
man, of where you're at now. Because you think about that, 10 years.
Yeah,
When did you go full time? Did you go full time at all there, or
2018.
what?
So what led me to go to full time? So here, once again, Man, I felt like in life I was given so many opportunities and chances, and thank God I took the chances I got. Because what happened was in 2018, my dad got diagnosed with brain cancer. He was 56 years old. He got diagnosed with something called glioblastoma. It's one of the aggressive forms of cancer, and it was one of the shocking moments in my life. You know what I mean? When you experience a family member, especially at that age, go through that type of illness, you can't imagine. It affects everyone, not just that person. So my mom actually lost a breadwinner. You know what I mean? He was hospitalized. He had to go through chemotherapy, radiation, and everyone's going through their own set of struggles, right? I mean, people are gonna send you messages and give you love and this and that and prayers, but at the end of the day, who's handling it? It's you, right? So
Yep.
you're in there, you're in the hospital room, you're by their side, you know, talking to them, and you're trying to keep yourself together. It was tough times. It was tough times, and I've seen this man. This man is probably one of my biggest inspirations. My dad,
Wow.
the way he worked so hard in his life. He worked, minimum paying jobs, right? He was a dishwasher, he was a delivery man. And I remember, like, till this day, I remember one time I went to pick him up at this restaurant I used to work for. It was called La Belle Province here in Montreal. It's kind of like a fast food joint. I remember I picked him up because he lost his license. Him too, he had some bad habits. Unfortunately, he was an alcoholic. He had a DUI, so he couldn't drive. So I had to go pick him up. And when I had him come in the car, and I could still, till this day, I still kind of smell the sweat, man, that he had on his body, the odor. And sometimes when actually thinking about it right now, it's crazy. It gives me chills, to know, like, he walked in, didn't have to say anything, but I could smell how hard he worked. That it
Holy.
was crazy.
Wow.
It was crazy. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this man's here to, like, provide for the family. No matter how much trauma he's been through, he's
Oh,
he's here to provide for the family.
and this is when he
And,
was going through his illness.
this was right before that, like right before he got diagnosed, shortly. And for me, when he got diagnosed, it was the toughest thing. Like it affected my mom, my sister, right? I got one younger sister. It was crazy, and I had to hold it together because at the end of the day, if the whole family's down, like there's no one holding it together, it's gonna be hard. So I held it together. I put myself together. I had my moments, closed doors where I had to deal with it for sure. But at the end of the day, I had to step up, right? I had to carry it, and it was
Wow.
tough, man. So he was with us for 2 years, from 2018 to 2020. He passed away in September 6th of 2020. Oh, it was the
Wow.
hardest thing.
Sorry
He
to hear
passed
that.
away at our house.
Wow.
And man, I mean, I don't want to be too descriptive, but man, I remember them coming in to pick him up, and lay him up on the stretcher, right?
Yeah.
And it was crazy, man, because they were taking him downstairs. I remember the coroners, like, just zipped him up. When they
Oh.
zipped that up, man, that was the hardest thing for me to witness. You know what I mean? And
Wow.
like, these are things, I mean, I'm being very vulnerable here, guys. It's crazy,
Yeah.
but it was the hardest thing for me to witness, to see that happen. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I want to inspire some people on the call to say, man, I'm not wishing anyone to go through this, but there's people that have gone through stuff like this, and we can come out of it. I can give you that encouragement that we can come out of it because there's a reason for you to live and to provide for others, right? So it was probably one of my toughest times, and we got through it, man. And that really, really, really was one of the reasons I went full time. So when we
Mm.
made that transition into Experior, I told myself I'm all in. I'm all in because my mom was a widow and I had no choice. So imagine, the first incident I was talking about, me getting, being a victim of crime, made me get out of crime completely, right?
Yeah.
And, started working hard full time, right? I completely detached myself from all that group of people that were a bad influence. And then from there, I had to elevate my skills in this business and take it to the next level. And that's when my dad, unfortunately, had to pass for me to say, you know what, I'm going even 10 times into this harder to make it work because I have no choice. I have no choice at this time. You know what I mean? And life changed, bro. I can tell you life changed. I'm so blessed, and I know he's watching us today, and I know
Yeah.
he's freaking proud, man.
Well, my condolences, brother. It's just crazy to see the capacity of a human, like how much strength we have when we're faced with that adversity. Where we can take our lives, take our business. Like, I mean, you just told us you went from making 14 grand a year, and now you guys are making 450,000 per year. Like, look at that. That's
Surreal,
insane.
man.
That's
Surreal.
crazy. Like, 1% of the population is making that type of income. You guys are making that every year. Think about that.
And we're not done yet, man. We're
Yeah,
just
you're
starting
not
to.
done yet. And that's
It's
the
crazy.
craziest thing about it is like there's no cap to what you earn. Like I won't be surprised if you guys are at 600,000-700,000 next year, the way that it's moving.
God
Right?
willing, man, for sure, for
So
sure.
so tell us, man, what inspired you to join Experior? That because I remember you joined around the same, I think the same year that I joined. I think you joined 2018,
Yeah,
right?
2018. That's right.
Yeah,
I
I
believe
joined
it
at the
was
end of
August
2018.
2018. If I,
Okay, okay, so you joined a few months before I did. What inspired you to join Experior?
so what happened was for us was we followed our leadership. You probably know Andrew Rogers,
Yep.
right? We call her the Black Queen of Quebec. Man. I mean, if it wasn't for this lady and also Delroy, I want to give Delroy a shout out.
Mm,
These two individuals, really, really, really gave me a shot because they knew my personal troubles that I've
yep.
been through, and they were the only ones I told because I didn't want to expose it to anyone else in the company because I didn't know, what kind of consequence it would have led to, right? Like, man, like for me being part of that type of environment, going through what I went through, I was afraid of, man, I was gonna lose the chance of doing this, this opportunity. So I shared it with Andrea and Delray, and they're Jamaicans, man. They're bad so they're like, yo, D, we got you. I'm like, yo, that's a bless. And I'm
I
like,
know, right?
I was like, you don't gotta say anything. We understand, and now it's about changing everything. You know what I mean? It's about, having that shift, that energy that's gonna get inside of you to shift your spirits and everything like that. And thank God, man. Honestly, the office was my safe haven, man. That's what I say. I treat it like my sanctuary. I come here, right? I stay away from all the troubles around me by coming into the office straight up, straight up. And because I was under the arms of Andrea and Delroy for a period of time, spending so much one-on-one time with them, really, really, really elevated my mindset, and my spirituality as well. And so 2018, we had a situation in Quebec with our former company. We weren't allowed to recruit. We weren't allowed to bring on new people, get licensed. It was like
Oh
a
wow.
11-month period. Yeah, there was a regulatory concern because unfortunately, there was someone. I mean, I don't know the whole story. I don't want to start saying stuff that might not be true, but from what I understood from the grapevine, it was someone cheated on the exam or something like that, and the regulatory body had to kind of do an investigation. But everything is fixed now. They're running up and running. They're doing good. So for a period of 11 months, we couldn't do much, right? So in that time, we were very vulnerable, and we were losing a lot of people on our teams. And then Experior came about, and one of the former leaders, actually from our former company,
Mm.
approached us and said, "Look, you know what? We're gonna make this an exceptional transition for you guys." And we're like, how? He's like, look, we got something special here at Experior that is good as what you guys have, but I think a little bit better. And we're like, in what ways? Like, because you're wearing the blinders, right? I was at the old company. I was at every convention. I'm pumped up. I don't see anything else better, right?
Yep.
I'm wearing the blinders tight, like tight. Like you're not gonna come up to me and tell me how good your opportunity is, because I was defended at all costs. So when my leader, right, Andrea, decided to entertain this, and she comes back to me and say, Dinesh, I think this is going to be better for the agents. I'm like, in what way? Say, Dinesh, you want to be able to do what you do, but make more money, but still be able to build a team. And there's obviously the ownership and all that. Like I didn't understand ownership and anything
Yep.
like that because I was still at the second level. So for me, making more money was like, okay, it's like you're telling me I can make more money, right? And we can build a team there. Stop it, stop it. Like that's all I knew. You know what I mean?
What was your title there? What was your title?
Oh, it was called an
Okay.
associate level.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So some people laugh at me. They're like, "Bro, you were there for 10 years and you're only at that level. Your leadership sucked." I'm like, it was nothing to do with leadership. I had the best leadership. It was just the shift here that didn't happen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And that's
And
what
the
happened to a lot
engagement.
of people.
Most people judge others thinking that it's the leadership, and it's really you at the end of the day, the
Yep.
person in the mirror, right? Because I had everything around me. It was just me. So that was it, man. And we decided to make this leap of faith, and it was the best decision. I followed my leadership. I followed Andrea. We
Wow.
essentially what we did was we took the name out our office from the old company to the new
Yep.
company, which is Experior Financial
And you
Group.
just put
So it was about 50, 60 licenses. So it was crazy. It was crazy.
and
Yeah.
that you guys came in like a flood, man. Like I see the transition, and I think we got promoted around the same time. I think I got promoted in was it March 2021? I can't remember. I think you got promoted to ED.
I got it right here. It was July 2021. So a few
Oh,
months
so it was
after
like
you.
right, yeah, we were the same year. That was crazy. So what was that like getting to that transition? Because you were actually the first. You kind of pioneered something here at Experior, man. You were the first to get promoted EDX, meaning, and for those
EDX.
of you who are watching, right, Experior Financial Group has two ways to get promoted to the executive director level. One is you can, give up a replacement leg. The other is without giving up the replacement leg, but there's a little more production, more income that's involved. You were the first one to get promoted like that. Tell us how that was, that process getting promoted.
It was incredible, man, because first of all, thinking about getting to ED was a big thing for me. Because I remember in my practice company, I was in front of the stage, I was in front of the crowd, right? Like I was in the first row, second row. It was very, I can probably count on my fingers if I was in the second row. I was always in the first row,
Mm,
and when I was at big events. And I used to watch people go up on stage, get their six-figure rings or quarter million rings or half a million rings. They're getting promoted to different titles. And mind you, I'm here like for like last 10 years. So imagine me sitting in that first row and just clapping and telling myself, man, next year that's me. That's Big D that's going up on stage. And it was crazy. Because I think a lot of people lose hope after maybe a year or two. Like they don't
yep.
see themselves going up. Like 10 years. 10 years, I'm telling you guys, I'm not trying to boast, but perseverance at a high level right now. You know what I mean? It was crazy. People don't believe me, but that's the truth. I don't lie about how long I've been in the old company. If anyone wants to go check my profile on LinkedIn, it's exactly that.
Wow.
2008. And you know what? I couldn't even imagine it. It started happening. When your energy shifts, you become the person before you achieve the things, right?
Mm,
My energy, my spirit, right? The environment that helped me nurture that into me, like allowed me to become that person. And when I became that person, things just started falling into place. Like my mentors, Andrea and Delroy, like watch Dinesh. This guy's energy is shifting. Watch how he's moving. Look at the way he's talking. Because I had wild energy back then. Wild energy meaning like I used to just yell and talk, but it made no sense. It's like this guy's just yelling and talking. Like this guy makes zero sense right now. But
yeah.
that's because I was trying to show excitement, and I was trying to be a leader, but my energy was off like crazy. Then over time, I was trying to get composed energy. I was controlling my energy. When I speak, people understood. I was able to articulate a little bit better, right? And over time, I got better and better. It was crazy, and that came with environment, reading books, listening to
Yep.
amazing podcasts, all that stuff, right? Personal growth.
You were developing
And
yourself. You were growing yourself.
big time, big time. And I never miss events. Like it's crazy. Everyone says it, like all the leaders and people take it so lightly. Like, oh, don't miss events. They're like, oh, what's another event gonna, guys? An event's gonna change your life. That's what it's gonna do. An
I'm
event's
glad
gonna
you
change
brought
your
that up.
life.
And I
So,
talked about that on your I was on your training yesterday, and I was talking about that. Like, it was because of these events, especially the one I talked about in 2020, that pushed me to get to ED, to executive director. Had I not been at that event, I wouldn't have made it. You just hit something, you just hit the nail on the head, right? You got to be at every single event. People don't realize, like, we're not just trying to sell, we don't get paid for you to come to the event, but I can guarantee you it's going to put money in your pocket after you leave that event. Guaranteed, right? So yeah, that's a huge point.
that's exactly it, man. So no, we're very very humbled, man, to get to this level today, and we're seeing like once you get to a certain milestone, your vision expands, and
Yeah,
you start seeing the possibilities. And I think that's some of the challenges with certain people is that they're not willing to stick it up long enough to see that first milestone. Because once you hit that milestone, now you start expanding your vision, your possibilities, and now okay, now I can do the next level, right? And that's what's happening right now. Like we're at SED, senior executive directors. We got promoted last year, and I already see NED happening. Like it's automatic. Like that's happening before the end of this year, right? And
go.
for
Let's
me,
go.
like 10 years in the old company, I was like getting a $50,000 watch, they used to call it, right? Like that was a big deal for me. I was like, damn, can't wait to get that 50 grand watch, man. Like 50 grand watch is when you hit $50,000 of income, they give you a watch, a decent watch. And I was like, man, and today we're like, you know what? That's really nothing. Like there's
Yeah.
so much more out there, guys. Like, it's the limits you put on yourself, right? So we gotta expand that threshold. That's what it
And
is.
to make 50 grand is still like it's still a good deal. It's still a good thing here. Like a lot of people, like you were saying, 10 years at the practice company made 14 grand. So even if you made 50 grand, it's like, you know what, shoot, I'm
For
making
sure.
it. And that's money in your pocket too, net,
Absolutely.
right? Like,
Absolutely.
so it's not bad, but like, I mean, we can make so much more here. That's the beauty of it. But tell us, man, what's the we talk about the mission, like Experior Financial Group, building financial foundations for families to empower them today and leave a legacy for tomorrow. That's huge. And you mentioned Andrea Rogers, who's kind of the queen of pioneering that whole legacy
Yes.
program that we got here at Experior, which is second to none. But what's your mission? What's your mission?
That legacy is so key to me because at the beginning of my career here at Experior, like legacy was not there in my mindset,
Yeah.
and the reason for that is because I was focused on today. I was
Mm,
focused on trying to, elevate myself today financially, as an individual, right? Spiritually, whatever it was. But then as hear from Andrea and Delroy, they got so much years of wisdom, and that's how, I was so happy to know that Andrea was the one that was helping initiate this, because she realized, I'm like, hey, a legacy is lifetime, not
yep.
just for a number of years. So when she brought that to the table and she got that approved stamp, boom, yeah, legacy is lifetime, right? We can't be calling something a legacy and it stops after a number of years. And then I thought about, I'm like, holy crap, wait a sec. We can do a legacy. Like you're saying, look, so if something happens to me, I die, I get sick, or I retire, whatever it is, especially if I die or get sick and I can't operate, you're telling me my income stream is transferable to someone that's non-licensed, like someone who's not in my business? Like, that's crazy. And if they're in my business, they're gonna be able to inherit 100% of it, and it's gonna
Better.
be generational wealth. I'm like, what the? I could have. I was like, now I start understanding it,
That's
and
unheard of.
it's unheard of. It's unheard of. It's crazy. It's
Like
crazy.
we got people that joined our business because they were uninsurable, right? They suffer from certain illnesses that they tried to get insurance, they couldn't. They got declined. They got denied from it. And Experior's got something that'll literally pay out to their family, their kids' families, like infinite payout. 75% of your business, infinite payout. And if, like you said, if the spouse is in the business, they're getting 100%. Like that's crazy.
It's 1,000%,
Yeah,
and like you said, I love what you just said there. You're uninsurable, but with the Experior business opportunity, you're guaranteed to be insurable if you put the
yeah,
work in. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because your family is not going to be left behind at the end of the day, right? So this is so key. And if people understand that, like if you are today out there looking for something where you know that you actually own and you can pass on, like you gotta reach out to us, guys. I'm telling you right now on Facebook, you guys gotta reach out to us and kind of know about what we got here. Yeah, like don't be scared. That's all I can say. Like don't be afraid. Like I didn't have a financial background or insurance background, but I came in here. I just had a heart that wanted to win, and that's all you need, man. To be honest, you'll learn all the skills. So yeah, you're so right, man. Legacy was the key, and I understand it today, and I promote that like crazy.
That's huge, man. So now you've been in the business, like I said, for well, now it's going on about 17 years, I guess, right?
17 years, yeah, man. You're
17
making me
years.
sound old. Like how old do you think I look right now?
It's
Yeah,
funny because I've been in financial services for 15 years, but I was in this industry for the past 8.
yes,
You
sir.
you got like you almost got a decade on me,
I got a
brother.
decade on you, bro. That's crazy. Oh my God. So I was like
So
10 years old when I started, right?
there you go. There you go. They got you in early, man.
Yeah, they got me in early, man. They got me in
So
early. Yeah,
so
yeah.
tell me, man, like you've seen the goods, the bad, the ups and downs. What are some common mistakes that you've seen business owners coming into our industries make that, had they known certain things earlier on, what kind of things do you think they could have done to avoid those mistakes?
Yeah.
And maybe you gone through mistakes to yourself and you're like, shoot, had I done this differently, I would have been so much further ahead earlier on.
1,000%, man. I mean, everything comes down to discipline and consistency, correct? Because motivation, is great, right? You come to big events, you get pumped up, you come out of maybe a Facebook Live that you guys are watching today, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, that was pretty cool, and you walk away. But at the end of the day, that's motivation. If you don't do nothing about it and create a discipline that's going to create activities for you to create results, it's not going to work out. So for me, for a period of time, it was like motivation was the drug, right? I come in, I was hyped, and my friends used to say, like, "Oh, bro, you're going to that meeting again? Okay, you're gonna come back and talk to us about how good that was again, right?" And they're asking me, how much did you make? And I'm like, damn it. You know what I mean? I didn't make much. So it was hard. So it was hard to sell my friends because they're like, this guy's not succeeding. This guy's just pumped up for no reason. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, I got to start making some money. I got to start getting disciplined. I got to start
Yep.
hitting those activities, making money at the beginning, being a professional, getting competent in this industry, learning the products and services, servicing families. Because ultimately, nothing happens. Like, I mean, the whole company actually, if you think about it, Experior doesn't make any money if you don't service families.
Yep.
And you could build a big team, but if no one's servicing families, there's no revenue coming in. So for me, it's like, why don't I get really good at what I'm supposed to get good at, which is helping families, right? Financial planning, make
Yep.
some money, and then recruit people to that track record. I love
Mhm.
that. Because now I don't get much pushback, right? So it was so much easier to bring people on when people started seeing, man, Dinesh is actually doing something there.
When
I
you had
seen
the
what this
track
guy is
record.
doing. Like I asked him a few questions, right? A lot of people try to interrogate. You can't give them too much, right? But some
Yeah.
people know. And then we give them a little bit here and there, and then they get more curious, and then we get them in and we show them what we got, and then we kind of invite them, bring them into our environment, right? And help them be part of this great crusade we're trying to build and go from there. So, yeah, I mean, look, man,
That's huge.
it's really the environment. You got to be disciplined. You got to have activities. You can't keep breaking your promises. Hey, folks, you can't break your promises. You're never gonna succeed, right? Sometimes people ask me like, "Yo, D, man, you come out like every time you come out, D, like even to the office, right? These guys come, they come touch up my suit. They seen the suit like 5 times. It's just the way I rock it, I guess. Not just like,
Yeah.
so they come up and they're like, "No, D, you got this clean suit on." I'm like, "Bro, I gotta dress apart at the end of the day. If I come in with joggers, if I come in with a hoodie, if I come with a t-shirt, I trust me. You might say, "Well, D, we know you, bro. Don't worry about it. You can get comfortable." Nah,
You gotta
trust
have that separation. You gotta
and
separate yourself.
like what I don't want you to be is comfortable
Yeah,
with me. You understand?
yeah,
Because there's certain people I can't have them be comfortable with me at the end of the day.
100%. That's so true. So
It's
good.
so key. Like
So
this.
key.
This is gems right here. Some
Yeah,
people kind of get too comfortable with their downlines, and then that downline decides to treat you in a certain way,
yeah,
shows you less respect. They're not coachable. So that's also the way you lead, guys. Like the way you lead, the way you walk, right? The way you dress is so important. And sometimes the conversations you have with certain people can't be the same ones when you have with others. So I'm very mindful of the groups I work with. So that really helped me. So over time, my activities, my discipline, being part of the environment, working on the 6 inches between my ears, right, which is my brain, my mindset, really helped. And going making money, man, like helping families, putting food on the table, instilling belief, not just for myself, but especially the people around me, like my mom and dad. Like my mom and dad for a period of time, like in the old company, like they really couldn't handle it. And then my dad passed, right? And then my mom was like, "Man, you got to make this work now, right?" And when I started making it, and this is also emotional. I remember my mom was having a hard time attending my trainings, and I used to tell her, "Mom, I'm going to be training today. Do you want to show up?" And she would say, "Yeah, okay." And then she started hearing that Dinesh is moving up in the company, and then she started showing up, and she saw me speak in front of 200, 300 people, and she's like, "Holy shit, like this is
now it's
crazy."
real. Now it's
And
real.
then I got emotional because I remember my mom had to take public transportation from our place to come, and she's like, in her late 60s, right? And I wouldn't want my mom ever like taking that, right? I'll pick her up, like she's my queen, right? At the end of the day. So when I saw her come in with public transportation and she had to come into the room and she sat there and I asked my mom, and I cried. I said, "Guys, look, my mom came. I want to ask you, Mom, how did you get here?" And she's like, "I took the bus and metro." The metro, by the way, here is it's a train
Yep.
system. And I'm like, "Holy shit," to come see me.
Yeah,
And the
it's
whole
different.
time, for her it was hard to accept what I was doing, but
Yeah.
then I made it work because I wanted it so bad and I wanted to show people that this was real, that this
Look
was
at that. Look at that.
yeah,
That's huge, man.
yeah.
So how important is mentorship for you?
Mentorship is the key, right? You got to find that mentor that resonates with you, that can help you with your energy. Because I always talk about energy, and everything is energy, right? At the end of the day, like the way people can sense it right away. If someone sits down with you, just the way you move, the way you talk, your gestures, everything can mean a lot to them, and it would be a deciding factor for them to say if they want to work with you or not. So for me, mentorship was so key. Delroy, I'll just tell you, I'm gonna shout him out. Like Delroy, he's a man of spirituality, a lot of wisdom, and he's all about being calm and more meditated, right? He's not that high. Like he's not gonna come in there and start doing this crazy motivational talk. He's gonna talk logic to you. He's a critical thinker. He's an engineer background, right? And I got that from him. Then I got Andrea. Andrea's a go-getter. She's gonna go like she's not gonna let anything stand in front of you. Yeah, in front of her. Sorry, she'll get it right. Her energy's high. She'll make things happen. So I got the best of both worlds.
That's
Like I
huge.
was
You
so
need that
blessed.
balance.
Like people don't
You need
even
that
know
balance.
it. I was so blessed.
Yeah,
And I was able to take from her. I was able to take from Dell, and that's it, man. Kind of molded Dinesh.
that's huge.
So it is.
No, that's a game changer. People don't really. You need that balance, right? Because if you in this industry, people don't understand the importance of having that mentorship. And that's why I asked the question. I didn't know about it until I joined Experior because I was with the practice company for about a year and a half, and the mentorship was a lot different there. It was very product centric, and you just come in, everyone's kind of isolated, doing their own thing. And I got to the point where I was struggling and I didn't know what to do next. And having that mentorship is what pushed me to get to that next stage, that next level, and just plugging into the trainings that we have. So that's huge. Now, for you, obviously, like I know with me and my wife, part of our daily routine, we get up, we take some time to pray together after we drop the kids off, and that kind of sets the tone. And we usually start our days usually around 9:30. as far as like our work day, get into the office and get things going. But what are some of your like daily habits and rituals that you do to kind of get your day started and keep that motivation going?
For sure, man. And some people might laugh about this, but it works out for me, right? So I'm the first one to wake up. You know, if you can
Okay.
ask Lucci, she'll probably tell you the same. I always try to wake her up on the side.
Okay.
I'll be the first one to wake up, and what I do is I pretty much get up. I go straight to the kitchen, and I actually check the sink. Okay, this is weird. I check the sink. I'm like, if there's any unwashed dishes, Dinesh is gonna clean those dishes right now because I want
Okay,
to
let's
wake up
go.
to something fresh. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a little weird. It's my routine. I wake up. I go to the
It's funny
sink.
that you say that though, because I'm like that at night. Though. I want to make sure I'm going to bed and everything's clean. I don't like waking
Exactly.
up and there's a mess.
That's it. So I'll tell you like I'll break it down. It's every day is exactly the same. I wake up. I go to the sink in the kitchen. I clean up the dishes, whatever's left. I put everything away. Then I take my vitamins. You know, I take my probiotics. I got my fish oil pills. I got my vitamin D2. I'm telling you my routine right here, guys. You know, so I started doing it for a while now, and it's been incredible. So I do that, and then I get my coffee. And most oftentimes I make Lucia coffee, so I bring the coffee to the room, right? And she's out here. She's like, yo, okay.
Like it didn't happen right
It
away.
didn't
It
happen
took
right away.
him
It took
like
time.
It took
Okay,
some
it took
time. It
time.
took
months and
But I
time.
made it
months,
work. I made it work,
you
okay?
know. I had to push him. I had to push him.
Lucha
There you
have
go.
Let him learn, how to help him to become a man.
okay. No doubt. Hey, I'm not here boasting that I became a man myself. I mean all the
You
ladies
need that push.
around me, my mom, my sister, and hey, my better half, for
There
sure,
you go.
pushed me to become the person I am today. That's 1000%.
That's good.
But yeah, those are things I started. So I do that, and then finally when Lucci, crawls out of bed, I fix up the bed. Hey, and I have a weird routine. Okay, guys, let's talk about it. I vacuum every pillow. I'm like,
Oh,
what?
for real?
I swear, I vacuum every pillow. I don't know, this OCD or something. Like I vacuum every pillow. That's because we also have a cat. So I
Oh,
vacuum every
okay.
pillow one by
Okay.
one. I vacuum the whole bed. And then Lucci like this, I guess, she already knows the routine, so she just sees me do it. And then I, fix up the bed. So the bed is prepped well. Because at the end of the day, I learned this from I think it was I think it was a general colonel. Like it was a video. Like he said,
Oh,
you got
yep.
to make your bed when you wake up. He's like, at least if you go through the whole day and it was a bad day, at least you come back to a made bed.
It's
So
funny you said that because I think about that every day too, and that's the exact same thing. Reason why I make sure, when I get up, I make the bed because at least I did something right.
absolutely, man. And I got my first win, right?
Yeah,
By doing that. And so that's it. So I do that, and then we get ready. We go to the gym. We have a gym
nice.
in the condo, so we normally do it together. Like we have accountability, right? Like I'm blessed in that sense that my better half, my partner in life, is willing to hit the gym with me. So it's not like I got a motivator. She's motivating me, and she's telling me, "Hey, look, let's do the gym. Let's hit up the cardio. Let's go." So that's a blessing. So you got to count your blessings, guys. A lot of us, we got these little things happening in our lives, and we know other families or individuals might lack that, and you got to count your blessings. And sometimes we're always thinking about, oh man, I wish I can have this or that. Hey, what about what you already have? Be
Yep.
grateful. Have some
Yeah, be
gratitude, right?
grateful.
And highlight that stuff. So for us, we're lucky in that sense because we want to really prioritize health. And so we do that, and then we start our day, and we go throughout the day, and we're trying to get better at our routine in the evening because that's where we kind of slack, is where we have a long day, and then we kind of eat bad, and then we want to get in shape, right? So that's my problem. I'll tell you that, and I kind of drag her into it. I'm a foodie, so I want to go out and eat something nice, and that ruins the whole like diet, right? So I gotta
Yeah.
get serious on that. And I actually got great tips from Frank DeLeo, man. He put us
Okay.
on his water fast for 3 days.
Mm.
Holy crap! If Frank, you're listening to this, Frank the Tank, the Bank, all the other Anks, whatever it is.
And
This guy's
he's
a man, bro.
I've been
This guy's a
noticing
man.
him. His physique has changed too.
Holy crap, man! I want to give him a mad shout out. Like when I seen him in Mexico, I was like, Frank, holy, like it was
Yeah,
incredible, man.
yeah, yeah.
The discipline he's put himself through. So, nah, it's inspiring. So I took some counseling from him, and he told me, hey, you know what? You got to try this water fast. I actually went and did it. Holy crap! We shed a lot of pounds, and now we're just trying to get back. Guys, health is wealth. I mean, how you operate in life, right, or
Yeah.
business, sorry, is going to be based on how your health is. Your energy is all dictated with your health, right? So if you're not eating properly, if you're not exercising, you're waking up, grumpy or lousy or lethargic. Like, how are you going to go win? Like, how are you going to win in life?
Yeah.
right? It's not possible. Like you're gonna have such low energy. So for me, guys, like take care of your health.
Yeah, if
Like
you have no, yeah, if your
one
health isn't there and you have all the money in the world, you really won't even have the energy to be able to use it. So it's like, what's the point,
exactly. There's
right?
no
So
point. You can have all that money, but you got no way to spend it because you're worried about your health right now, right? And
absolutely.
it's crazy. So that's why like D, like when people look at me and like, yo, D, like, okay, you're working hard, bro, but I see that you're focused on going to the gym. They always ask me, hey, D, you go to the gym? Yeah, how's your diet, this and that. And I said, listen, that's it. I don't get caught up with like, the shiny objects anymore. I used to get super hyped, I want this and that. But now I'm like, bro, my health is more important.
That's
You know
good.
what I mean? And
That's
mental
good.
health, more importantly, right? Mental health. And I don't
But
want to
the
be the
crazy
elephant
thing
in the
is,
room.
though, as you develop that, your income automatically started to develop as well. Because I've seen that too over the years. So look at that, how they work hand in hand.
Hand in hand, man. Hand in hand.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So tell me, man. Like, obviously, we know why this industry is second to none. There's really no industry like it, right? It's produced the most amount of 6 and 7 figure earners. We've helped thousands, hundreds of thousands of families, right, with insurance, with investments, with retirement planning, debt reduction. I was telling someone that I helped a client literally save over $185,000 just in interest alone, getting them
Bro.
out of debt, right? Why do you think somebody should join this industry, get their LOQP license and join this industry? Why do you think someone should do that?
First of all, I would say anyone can do it, in my honest opinion. Of course, you have to have the drive. There's no limitation. There's no like barriers to entry. Guys, if you guys have a high school diploma, if you can read, write, and operate a computer, right, and you're willing to put some time into this, you can do it.
Yep.
People think that you got to have this whole like master's or bachelor's, whatever it may be. Guys, no. There's a course that you take that can be completed within 30 to 60 days, online course on top of it, right? It's kind of so I compare this to like real estate and mortgages, right? A lot of people go into real estate mortgages because that's the hype, right? That's what most people know for all their lives. But everyone forgets about the insurance business. And the
Yep.
insurance business is so, so good. And the reason for it is because it doesn't just pay you once, it pays you forever as long as the client's in your portfolio. A lot of people don't know that, right? Because like I have nothing against the real estate industry or mortgage industry, but if you do a real estate transaction as a realtor, you get that nice check up front. A mortgage agent will make a nice check up front. But the insurance industry, you can make a nice check up front, but you'll also make ongoing income for the rest of your life. So for all the clients myself and Lucci have served, right, since 2018, we're still making a residual on that, even though, I haven't sold anything. Like if I stop selling completely, we'll still make a residual because we're servicing our existing portfolio. It's such a powerful industry. There's no limitations. Don't matter about your language barrier. Don't matter about what you know. If you have the willingness to learn and grow, guys, come talk to us. Come talk to Tyrone. Come reach out to me. Like honestly, like here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna throw it out there, guys. Check your ego out.
Yep.
Check your ego out. If you're watching this right now, check your ego out. Like put that ego away and say, hey, you know what? Let's go see what these guys are up to. And in no way, guys, trust me, anyone that comes here, like we're grown leaders, me and Tyrone, everyone is family here. And if
Yep.
we can contribute to your life in some way or form that can help you, and we want you to excel even bigger than us. That's the nice thing about this industry. It's not like you come in here, you're working for Denesh or Tyrone. You're coming here to work for yourself and
Yep.
build something even bigger than anyone you want. Don't matter. So why don't you come check this out?
It's so true that you say that, and that's the one thing I love about this company, right? Like we just crossed over 10,000 licensed agents, but you and I, we're in different hierarchies. People don't even know that. Just the way our conversation is and how much of a bond we have, we're in two completely different hierarchies. And most companies, they'd be like, wouldn't even talk to each other, right? But the fact that you and I have such a bond, it just shows what Experior has to offer. We're not looking at that like everyone's here to help each other out. Like I was just on your training yesterday. You're going to be on ours next week, right? And that's what we do here. We're all trying to grow and win together,
Camaraderie,
right?
right?
So yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You said it perfectly.
That's it, man. And I would just hope, like I have about over 2,500 people on my Facebook friends list, and I know a lot of people watch my reels. Some people kind of watch it, they like it, and in my head, I'm like, I want to let people know actually, at least today, I'm like, guys, we're here. We can
Yeah,
help you out if you're looking for a new career, part time, full time, don't matter. Come check us out. You got nothing to lose, right? No one's gonna handcuff you. No one's gonna put shackles on your feet. Like, hey, come out here. Like, we could give you good information, who we are, what we do, and if this can be something for you, hey, let's talk more, right? That's all it is.
absolutely, absolutely, man. So I got two more questions for you, brother. So you're looking back to the beginning, like, and I kind of touched on this a little earlier, but I want you to kind of expand on it. What do you say to the younger you that, to avoid certain pitfalls, that you say, you know what, this is what's going to accelerate my career had I done this? And you kind of touched on that, but I want people to really realize that, because you were a former forklift driver. We've had former mechanics on here, former painters, all different walks of life. But it's like at the end of the day, you still managed to get that level of success. And had you had whatever that it is, you would have been there so much faster. So what would you have changed? What would you have done differently? Who would you have talked to help get that success a lot faster?
I wouldn't have let rejections get to my head, because everyone is worried about people saying no.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know enough people. Well, we'll teach you how to find people. Now we got the internet. If you're actually watching this, you're like, hey, how do you guys even get clients? Guys, we have people on our team that are using online marketing, like Facebook itself. You can build your brand on that. We'll show you how to do it. You'll have people walk into your house or call you up. Like, guys, this is how it is. Forget the door knocking, forget the cold calling. That's the old way of doing business. So whenever my friends or even some people that don't know me say, well, Dinesh, how do you find your clients? I'm like, guys, online today. Like if you just learn how to use social media, you'll be able to attract a lot of people, right? You become magnetic. So if I didn't let the rejection, so I was good at talking to people, but then the rejections got to my head, right?
Yeah.
So I get a little emotional, and then I started realizing, I'm like, look, guys, at the end of the day, it's timing, right? Not everyone's ready for this, right? And timing is a major role, right? So if it's not for you today, it might not be. I'm not saying it's not for you forever. It might be 6 months from now, 12. So I was really good at prospecting. So if you can get really good at prospecting, staying in touch with people, because people want opportunities. People want to learn about money and finance, right? What do we do here? Well, we teach people how to minimize taxes, how to get out of debt, how to save for retirement, how to protect their income. Like, don't you think people want to learn those things?
Yeah.
Especially when we're living in Canada, paying a crap load of taxes. Come on now, right? So for me, it was like, it's a no-brainer. So why don't you come, learn some of these concepts for yourself? And the worst case scenario, you'll leave with the best education if it doesn't work out. And the best case scenario, you come out here with a great career that you can thrive and grow something big with, right? So for me, it was that, and that's what I'm doing. Like, hey, if I was a younger me, guys, I would say talk to as many people, stay in touch, follow up, help them see the vision of what this can do for them.
That's huge. I love that. That's huge. That's huge. And like we said, man, like this company, we literally started with 6 agents in Canada, Guelph, Ontario, to a company that's expanded all across North America. We're on both sides of the border. Became the first financial service company to transition to the U.S. And this last week crossed over 10,000 licensed agents. Like,
ooh, let's go.
Think about that. Like, but the crazy thing is how many lives we're actually helping change, how many families we're changing, because you yourself, you probably helped 100, 200 families just last year. Your team now probably did 1,500, 2,000. And then you think about there's 10,000 agents, how many lives they're changing, hundreds of thousands, right? So the impact that we're able to leave is crazy. It's second to none.
Absolutely.
But my last question for you, brother, is, we're doing this, we're trying to leave a legacy. I talked a little bit about your mission, but what do you want people to remember you as? What legacy do you want to bring?
I want to leave a legacy where I feel I contributed to someone else's life. And I think it doesn't have to be that I made someone rich, but I said something, or I did something that made them feel, man, this guy was someone great, and I can be remembered by that. So in some way or some form, if I can impact someone's life by the words I spoke, or maybe something I did for them, right? And even if it's financially at one point, hey, but I want to leave a legacy in that sense that, hey, I made an impact, right? And that's important for me, because fulfillment, guys, like today I realized that you can chase money, right? And you're never gonna stop chasing money, right? You're always gonna want more and more and more over time. But then if you can help other people realize success, I feel that's more fulfilling, because now you see other people's smiles, you see their hearts light up, their eyes light up, and you're like, man, this is so much more fulfilling, because you know the pain they went through. And I feel today, honestly, deep down, guys, like seeing other people succeed really, really fills my heart. Really, really fills my heart. It's crazy. And I'm not saying like the money's not like I don't want the money. Of course, the money's gonna come, but helping others in our business, helping others, if they win, you win at the end of the day. So, my favorite saying, my line, my quote is, we don't win if the team don't win. You know what I mean?
We don't win if
We don't win if the team don't win, or we would say the opposite. We only win if the team wins, right? That's the only way. Because how would it make sense? And I said this at one of my talks. I said, how would it make sense, right, guys, in life, that you alone or your own family is excelling at the highest level and everyone else is below you? How's that fun at the top by yourself? Wouldn't it be more fun when you guys excel together and you guys can all roll together, have fun together, and spend together? Wouldn't that be more fun? That's the way I look at it.
Game changer.
You know what I mean?
Build
Like,
that camaraderie.
does
You
that
have
make
that,
sense?
that
Right?
culture. Yeah,
That's it. That's all it
that's
is,
huge.
man. So that's what we're fighting for here, man. We want to help our team win, and we're gonna make it happen, man. We're gonna change as many lives as we can. You know what I mean? For sure.
Love it, brother. Love it, man. That was exceptional, brother.
Yes, sir.
You guys
Much
heard it
love,
first,
bro.
but tell me, do you guys want to leave them with anything, man? You want to drop anything before we
Sure,
wrap
sure,
things
sure,
up?
sure, man. I mean, look, I'll say this, guys. Life is not easy. All right. We all know that. I'm sure you guys feel that way right now. But, think about who you're doing this for. Whatever you're doing in life, who you're doing it for. Do you have a reason? And you got to get close to that why. Find that why within you. And Tyrone, you talked about it yesterday in our call, and you lit me up, man. Because sometimes we lose sight of that why. And we gotta get close to that why. And I'm praying and I'm hoping for all of you guys on this call, right, that are listening to this, that you get close to that and you don't let no one get in your way. Don't let no one get in your way. Don't matter what people say, don't matter what people do, don't matter the reels you watch, don't matter the social media stuff you see online. Don't let that stuff distract you. If you got to go behind closed doors and do something for a period of time when no one's watching, and that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Right? Get
Absolutely,
close to your why and make this
absolutely.
happen, guys. I know everyone can succeed in every way, in every part of life, and you got to go get yours. All right. So I'm sending you guys blessings, more prayers. Let's go win for our family, our friends, and create that legacy.
Let's go. Let's go.
Go!
Those of you watching, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this live. Share it on your Facebook, share it on your pages, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get this on YouTube. We'll get this out there again, but share it, rewatch it. If there's anything, give it to a friend. But guys, let's win together. If you're looking for a better opportunity, reach out to one of us here at Experior Financial Group. Dinesh, this has been amazing, brother. I appreciate you, man, and let's kill it together, brother.
Likewise, bro. Let's go, baby.